Colorado High School Activities Association Baseball is on Morgan County's B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network this afternoon from Legion Field. It's another Longs Peak League clash as the visiting Northridge Grizzlies take on the Fort Morgan Mustangs. I'm John Beltran, and the Mustangs need this game badly, considering they played on Tuesday in Greeley. And the Mustangs had 5-1 and 8-4 leads and let them both slip away, and they lost the game 17-12. Northridge 5-6 overall. The Mustangs at 8-3. And we are going several minutes early here. Colin Farley will be delivering the first pitch here to the right-handed hitting Colin Gilly, who was on base 5 times on Tuesday. And that pitch is down and away in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. Opening pitch brought to you by Buildings by Design. Quality, commitment, and experience makes Buildings by Design the only choice when it comes to your next project. Out of the stretch and the offering. Fastball is a strike on the outside corner. It's 1-1. Both teams wearing dark uniforms. The Mustangs with their black stripes, and the same thing Northridge with their navy blue striped uniforms. The stripes being horizontal. And the pitch and the breaking ball is upstairs. Ball 2, strike 1. Jace Reed, the shortstop, was very good on Tuesday as well. He bats second. Gannon McGee, the pitcher, at third. The cleanup hitter is the third baseman, Mark Felix Llamas. Long pause by Farley, the pitch. Swung on and drifted down the right field side. Wheatley giving chase. Played on a hop. A base hit for Colin Gilly. This guy continues to kill the Mustangs as he went the other way. The rest of the lineup goes like this. Dylan Hubbard, the DH, hits 5th. Cooper Rose is behind the plate. He will bat 6th. Batting 7th is the left fielder, Brendan Peterson. And I'm not sure what happened there. Are they sending the hitter back? Was time called? I know it looked like time was about to be called. I'm not sure what happened. Yeah, they're going to send him back. Batting 8th is Isaiah Shepard, and Lincoln Lyons will at 9th. It looked like right before the pitch was thrown, time was about to be called. So I think that whole play is going to be nullified. It'll still be 2 balls and 1 strike here to Colin Gilly, so the Mustangs get an early break. Yeah, it was kind of odd there because Gilly, I know, wanted time. He was about to step out, then the pitch was thrown. So we'll do it again. 2 balls and 1 strike. The stretch and the offering and the breaking ball's a beauty on the outer half at the knees, and the count levels at 2-2. Well, this is certainly a lot better weather-wise today. It was 51 degrees and very windy. It's breezy, but not too bad at 58 degrees, and the pitch. Swung on, that is lifted into shallow center field. McCoy coming on, still coming. He dives, and it's off his glove. And it's a base hit for Colin Gilly. It was off the end of the bat. So it didn't matter either way, and Gilly's on base. On base 6 times now, the Mustangs. Defensively has the following lineup. Jesse Camp is at first. The second baseman is Joseph Layden. Frank Ortega third. The shortstop is Braden Fajardo. David Keller in left. Levi McCoy in center. The right fielder is Briggs Wheatley. Behind the plate, Antonio Velasquez. The pitch. Fastball is over but low. 1 ball and no strikes to Jace Reed, the right-handed hitter. He was 2 for 2 with 3 runs scored and 2 RBIs on Tuesday. The offense was really solid for both teams. But the Mustangs committed a bevy of errors, and not 2 or 3. About 10. Fastball down and away. That's why he had defensive changes made by head coach Josh Langford as well. 2 balls and no strikes here to Jace Reed. Short lead at first. Colin Farley nearly threw a shutout 9 days ago against Riverdale Ridge. He did get the win. The pitch. Down and away. 3 balls and no strikes. And the line for Farley was good enough to get him the victory. Nearly through that 5-inning shutout. 2-1, a 1.53 ERA. And the 3-0 pitch is coming. And that is a strike at the knees. Took something off that fastball, 3-1, with the left-handed hitting Gannon McGeen on deck. 3 balls and 1 strike. Short lead at first for Gilly, about 2 steps. Farley to the plate, runner goes. That is a strike, throw to second up the shortstop side. And a stolen base head first by the sliding Colin Gilly. We're going to try to open up a second mic here, get some crowd noise. This is a thin crowd. I mean, I don't think we have more than 15 people here. I feel like I'm doing a game in a library. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The stretch and the offering. Swung on and lifted into center field. Going back as McCoy still going back, and it's over his glove. Shy of the fence, he'll get it back in. And now Gilly's going to round third and hold up. He had to wait thinking it would be caught. But it's a double for Jace Reed. The ball kept carrying, but I think McCoy misjudged that again. The Mustang defense not playing well even the early going here. It scored a base hit, but if the runner held, that's what tells you something about the flight of the baseball. Second and third for McGeen. And the pitch, swing and a miss. No balls and 1 strike on Gannon McGeen. And the offering, swung on and lifted into right field. And Briggs Wheatley to his right, going back, still going back. That ball's carrying, and that ball is off his glove. Shy of the track. 1 run scores. Reed is being sent around third. The throw's not going to be made towards the plate. And Northridge is up 2-0. Man, you got to be kidding me. Well, that's going to be scored a double, but again, the Mustangs just misjudging the flight of the baseball. I mean, the ball nearly carried out of here as McGeen gave that a ride. And that'll send up Mark Felix Llamas. Here for Northridge, the stretch. And the offering. And the breaking ball is upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, this is just crazy. What is happening here in Fort Morgan? And the offering. Swung on. That is lifted to center field. That's got carry. That's way back. That's towards the fence. McCoy's going to watch it fly over the fence for a home run. That is a 2-run homer for Mark Felix Llamas. 3 fly balls. 3 nearly left the yard. 1 just did. And Northridge is now in the lead 4-0. Still nobody out in the top of the first inning. Wow. Another high-scoring game is on the way. There's no question about it. No doubt about it. Well, that's going to send up Dylan Hubbard. Hubbard 1 for 2 on Tuesday with a double from the right side. The pitch, fastball is upstairs. That 1.53 ERA has gone up, but it looked like 2 of those fly balls were somewhat catchable. And the pitch, way outside, and the count goes to 2-0. The game has started with a single, a stolen base, a double, which did not score a run, another double, which scored 2, and a home run. And the offering. Fastball is up and away, and Colin can't find the strike zone either. 9 balls and 8 strikes, and the strikes are too fat. And we know one thing, the wind is aiding the flight of the baseball as Northridge, scoring 17 runs on Tuesday, has 4 with nobody out in the top of the first. The pitch, way outside. You don't want Farley to get rattled, and keep in mind, Frank Ortega not available. Jesse Campa I don't believe he's available either after the number of pitches he threw on Tuesday. That means you're essentially down to Bodie Wheatley, and they've only used 4 pitchers. And the pitch, down and away, 1 ball and no strikes. I mean, they are really banking on Farley here to get the job done. And so far, 19 pitches and no outs. Not just a bank in Colorado, they're Bank of Colorado, a proud supporter of local sports and academics. The offering, that's a strike. Took something off that fastball in the outer half of the knees. It's 1-1. And it doesn't appear that there's a strong wind here, but we know that it is blowing out to center and to right. Short lead at first. And the offering, that is a strike at the knees on the outside corner to Cooper Rose, who was 0 for 4. This is the guy you got to get. 4-0 Northridge on a single, 2 doubles, and a home run, but a couple of misplays out there. The outfielder is not realizing that the ball is really flying. Rose awaits the pitch. Here it is. Runner goes. Swung on. Line foul off to the right. Yeah, and there's no way that Farley gets out of this inning throwing fewer than 30 pitches. No way. Not with the way this has gone so far. He's 22 pitches in and is still looking for his first out. Just a 1-step lead over at first base for Dylan Hubbard. And the pitch to Rose. Swung on, popped up. This should be the first out. The second baseman, Layden, is going to give way to the shortstop, Fajardo. The catch is made, but that was right at the second baseman. Wow, that is an odd play. Very odd play. Fajardo caught the ball exactly where Layden was positioned, but Fajardo called it thinking that maybe the wind was going to have an issue with that baseball, and there's one down. It's not like it was caught near the second base bag at all. That makes me wonder even more what's going to happen in this game defensively. It was a disaster on Tuesday. Here is Brendan Peterson. The pitch runner goes. That's down and in. The throw to second by Velasquez on a hop, and it's late, and it's off the base runner's helmet, the bill of the helmet. 1 ball and no strikes. Nothing Antonio could have done there. Brendan Peterson was 1 for 5 with a 2-run single in game 1 of this 2-game series over a 3-day stretch. 4-0 Northridge in the top of the first inning. Looking back is Farley. Still looking back. And the pitch. Swung on, that is popped up on the left side, foul territory. 3 fielders give chase, and it's caught by Ortega in front of the Mustang dugout. A one-handed grab by Frank Ortega, 2 down. Yeah, they need quick outs now, very quick outs. Well, maybe Farley does get out of this with less than 30 pitches. The last 3 pitches have garnered a couple of outs. Now we have a late arriving crowd. Both sides. That'll send up the 8-hitter Isaiah Shepard. He had a couple of base hits on Tuesday in the 17-12 victory. Swung on line, base hit into left field. Let's see if Hubbard scores. He will step on third. The ball is bobbled by Keller. It'll be an RBI single for Isaiah Shepard. He continues to hit Fort Morgan pitching this week, and Northridge leads 5-0 in the first inning. And they will bat all 9 in this top of the first, including Lincoln Lyons, who did not play on Tuesday. Let's check out the numbers here on Lyons. And the pitch is a ball. One ball and no strikes. We'll get to those a little bit. Well, let's see. Maybe we can pull those up right now. Hitting from the right side with an open stance. 1-0 here from Colin Farley. 2-step lead at first. That's Isaiah Shepard. Step off, no throw. Lincoln Lyons, a sophomore, hitting 200. 1 ball and no strikes. And the pitch. That is outside. So we will get to at least 29 pitches in this inning. It's a 2-ball, no strike count to Lincoln Lions. That means Louis Pisano, who started on Tuesday, is not starting today for Northridge. The pitch. And that ties him up inside, but he went. Wow, I didn't think he went around. The Mustangs catch a break there. It's 2-1. It all started with Colin Gilly. He was the trendsetter on Tuesday. Base hit here. Back-to-back doubles and a 2-run homer by Mark Felix Llamas. The offering. Down and away. Well, the walk that Farley issued came home to roost. 3 balls and 1 strike. With Briggs Wheatley unavailable this season to pitch, I mean, they're relying on 4 arms. And they used 2 of them heavily on Tuesday. The offering. Swing and a miss and a fastball at the letters. 3 balls and 2 strikes. To Lincoln Lions, Isaiah Shepard will be taking off from first. With 2 down in the top of the first inning. Looking in. The pitch. Swung on line foul off to the right. Count remains at 3-2. Three balls and 2 strikes here to Lions, the number 9 hitter. At the belt, the pitch. Breaking ball is grounded slowly to second. Layton charges, Fields throws to first. There's the final out to the top of the first inning. But Northridge has done some significant damage. 4 runs, make it 5 runs on 5 hits for the Grizzlies. No errors and a man left. Let's head to the bottom of the first inning. Northridge 5, and Fort Morgan is coming to bat on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. John Beltran back at American Legion Field where the Mustangs trail Northridge 5-0. Mark Felix Llamas had a big hit, a 2-run homer in the first inning off Colin Farley. Here is the Mustang starting lineup. Batting first is the right fielder Briggs Wheatley. The shortstop Braden Fajardo hits second. The third hitter is the third baseman Frank Ortega. The cleanup hitter is the first baseman Jesse Campa. David Keller in left hits fifth. The catcher Antonio Velasquez bats sixth. The DH Charlie Langford hits seventh. Second baseman Joseph Layton hits eighth. And batting ninth is the center fielder Levi McCoy. Defensively, it's Isaiah Shepard at first. Kobe Bevins at second. The third baseman is Mark Felix Llamas. Jace Reed at short. Brendan Peterson is the left fielder. Colin Gillian center. Lincoln Lions in right. Cooper Rose is behind the plate. And Gannon McGeen is on the mound here for Northridge. McGeen going in. Lefty against lefty. Swing and a miss with a fastball up in the zone. 1-1 with a 3.28 ERA. Facing Briggs Wheatley, who's batting .440. The offering down and away. Count levels at 1-1. Game went nearly 2 hours and 45 minutes on Tuesday in a 17-12 Northridge victory. The way this is going, we could be headed for the same length. Fastball is down and away. Took a little bit off of that one. Ball 2, strike 1. To Briggs Wheatley against the left-hander Gannon McGeen. And he operates out of the stretch with the bases empty. The pitch swung on and foul to the screen. It is 2-2. Yeah, just a run here. More than likely, you're not going to win this inning. Although you can never rule out anything. The pitch in the dirt and blocked by Rose. Yeah, Farley threw just over 30 pitches in the opening frame, 33 to be exact. They want to extend this pitcher as well because even Northridge is short on pitching, although that rotation is a little bit deeper than Fort Morgan's. 3-2 Swung on and line down the right field line. That is trouble. That's a base hit. Whately's going to round first and stay right there. And both teams begin their respective innings with base hits from their leadoff hitters. Colin Gilly for Northridge and Briggs Whately for Fort Morgan. Here comes Braden Fajardo, having a huge senior season. .560 batting average, and he's driven in 6. And he's also stolen a bunch of bases. He is just plain fast. But fast is one thing. He's a very good base runner. Fastball is a strike. Wow. Even Fajardo's questioning that. How do you call that a strike? That thing was tailing away from the time it left his hand, and Braden didn't like it. Neither did I. No balls and 1 strike. I mean, you can't even go the other way with that pitch. It's tailing so badly. The offering swung on. That is lifted on the left side of the infield. Mark Felix Llamas, the third baseman, drifts, and the ball is going to drop. It's picked up by the shortstop, and all runners are safe. Whately takes off for third. Then he's back to second. Now they've got him in a rundown. That was awful base running by Whately. Back to second. The throw's going to be made, and the tag is going to be applied. I don't know what Briggs was thinking there. Oh, man, he reached second safely, and he's going to be tagged on about 3 or 4 throws there, but that was awful base running after he was very aggressive early in that sequence. So it's going to be scored an error. I've got that as an error on Felix Llamas, allowing Fajardo to reach. And then Whately's tagged out on an awful base running play. The pitch, and the bender's a strike to Frank Ortega. Initially, Whately saw that the infielders were in trouble, so he took off, and that was a great play. Why he tried to get greedy with the heart of the order coming up was beyond me. Can't do that. 2-step lead at first. Snap throw, back in diving is Fajardo. That's part of the issue with this team. They're just not playing solid defense earlier this week, and now that's a decision a great player like Whately never see him make. Throw back to first, back in standing as Fajardo. 5-0 Northridge, 1 on, 1 out. That's another reason it's a bad play. You have to know what the score is, and I'm sure Briggs knew it. Maybe that's why he made that decision. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. The stretch by the left-hander McGee looking in. Frank awaits, and Frank calls time. The pitch is thrown, but that's going to be too late. Frank Ortega going into this game is batting .323. Yeah, the Mustangs can't afford to make any poor decisions offensively. They're going to have to outscore this team big time, and that pitch is a strike on the outside corner. They're giving both pitchers, I guess, some extra room there, because 1 to Fajardo, 1 to Ortega were definitely off the plate. And the pitch home. Breaking ball is low. Good spot there by McGee, but a good take by Ortega. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out in the bottom of the first inning. Northridge got 5 hits in the first, including a 2-run homer from Llamas. That gave them a 4-0 lead at the time. It's now up to 5. The pitch. Breaking ball is lined towards center field, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Take a huge hop, but not over the head of Colin Gilly. The bases would have at least been loaded there if not for the miscue base running wise. Instead, first and second with 1 out for Jesse Campa. Jesse did triple against Northridge. Unfortunately, that was his only hit. He's 1 for 4 from that effort. He's .222 on the season. Looking back as McGee, the offering. Swing and a miss and a pitch up and away. No balls and 1 strike. All 3 Mustangs have reached, but 1 has already been eliminated on the bases. McGee looking back to the plate. Right there, over the middle, fastball, strike 2. I think that caught Campa by surprise. No balls and 2 strikes. On deck is David Keller. Fajardo with about a 5-step lead at second. Looking back. The offering. Swing and a miss on a bender at the knees, and Campa strikes out, 2 down. A money pitch there by Gannon McGee, and here's Keller. David Keller batting .400. Got to drive him in now. He's got 8 RBIs with 2 down. Outside. 1 ball and no strikes. To Keller. The gaps are pretty big here in Fort Morgan. The offering. Swing and a miss on a pitch tailing down and away. Count levels at 1 ball and 1 strike. To the junior left fielder, David Keller. Runners off of their bases. Looking back is McGee. Looking in. The offering. In the dirt, blocked by Rose. Ball 2, strike 1. With 2 down in the bottom of the first inning. Premier Farm Credit with locations throughout Northeast Colorado. That's Premier Farm Credit, gold standard in ag lending. Swung on and popped up into shallow center. Now Gilly with a long run has to play it on a hop. Then the ball bounces away. That's going to score 1. Here's Ortega around third. He will score. And the Mustangs have 2 on the board here in the bottom of the first inning. And they trailed Northridge 5-2 as Gilly slipped initially. And that helped the Mustangs get those 2. And we'll call it a straight-up double there on a fly ball by David Keller. Yeah, there's no doubt that Gilly was discombobulated right off the bat. He stumbled, and then once he got to the baseball, took a little bit of a tricky hop, the pitch. And that bounces away from Rose. And to third is Keller as Velasquez is at the plate. I mean, there's no doubt the conditions are much better today than they were on Tuesday, and yet outfielders having issues. Fort Morgan really looked bad in the first inning, and Colin Gilly there was slipping and stumbling. One ball and no strikes. The stretch by McGee. The pitch swung on and fouled, and Velasquez was fooled badly there. That was an off-speed pitch, and he was way underneath it. 1-1. First runs by the Mustangs, brought to you by Western Engineering Consultants. Get your project started the right way. Western Engineering Consultants. Swung on and driven deep to left field. That's got major carry to the fence, and it's off the bottom of the fence. Velasquez rounds first. He's headed for second. He's going to have to slide the throw. Now he's caught between first and second. The throw back, he's going to be tagged out. And why were they sending him? I mean, he had a hard time just getting to first base. It is an RBI single for Velasquez, but the Mustangs doing an awful job on the bases. I mean, 2 Mustangs tagged out on the bases, and that'll go 7-3, and that'll end the bottom of the first inning. Fort Morgan with 3 runs on 4 hits, 1 error, nobody left, but 2 huge base running miscues. We head to the second. It's Northridge 5, Fort Morgan 3 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Let's head to the second inning. Northridge leads Fort Morgan 5-3. The Mustangs hit the ball well, relatively well in the bottom of the first, but the base running left a lot to be desired. I'm not even sure why Velasquez was going for second. I could tell right off the bat that he was not going to make it, which is why he had to slide. Then he pulled up 3/4 of the way to second. And here we go with Northridge sending the top of the order. Colin Gilly began the game with a base hit. Colin Farley threw 33 pitches in the first. And the pitch, fastball off the glove of Velasquez to the screen. Farley's had a very solid senior season on the hill, but this is easily the biggest challenge, allowing 5 runs in the first. And the 1-0. Swung on and grounded up the middle. Shortstop Fajardo to his left, behind the bag, throws to first in time, and Gilly is finally retired by Fort Morgan this season. That's a huge out One down here in the first for Jace Reed. Now, what about Fajardo playing some solid defense there? He's one of the few that have been very consistent defensively. They need a lot better. I mean, a lot better. In fact, with all the errors they committed on Tuesday, if they can play the next 5 or 6 games and commit the same amount of errors as they did in one game, that's going to be a massive improvement. The pitch. Down and away to Chase Reed, who doubled and scored in the 5-run first inning. Open stance from the right side. Colin gets a sign from Velasquez. And the offering. Swung on. That is lifted into left field. Going back, that's got carry. Keller to the fence, and that is gone. It's a home run on a long fly ball hit by Jace Reed. He's got a double. He's got a home run. Northridge 6, Fort Morgan 3 in the top of the second inning. And the ball is flying out of Legion Field. They look like routine fly balls off the bat. All of a sudden, you take a couple of steps and you run out of room. And that pitch was up in the zone, and here's McGeen, who nearly hit one out his first time. Coach Langford trying to settle down his pitcher, who's been great all season. The pitch. Fastball for a strike on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Well, the Mustangs and Grizzlies scored in virtually every inning on Tuesday. The pitch. Down and away. Count levels at 1-1. Advanced Agri Solutions, another outstanding sponsor of Morgan County Athletics. Advanced Agri Solutions. 2 balls and no strikes, or check it, should be 1-1. The pitch, swing and foul tipped into the glove of Velasquez. It's 1-2. The board says 2-1. Yeah, I've got 1-2, and I think that's what the umpire has. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out and the bases empty. Northridge 6, Fort Morgan 3. The offering, swung on and fouled back. That was pitch number 41 for Colin Farley. Well, you'd like to see some lower scoring games at some point. It's truer baseball, but we haven't had a lot of baseball weather either. And the pitch. That is a called strike 3 with a fastball in the inner half at the knees. Farley strikes out McGeen, 2 down. Oh, what a gorgeously located pitch. Here is Felix Llamas. He homered over the center field fence his first time up. As he steps in from the right side. The stretch and pitch. Fastball is up and away. Count it 1-0. Yeah, you never know how these ball games are going to go. Fort Morgan had that 5-1 lead early. Ortega looked fairly sharp, and then, man, he just got hit hard. And so did Jesse. The pitch swung on and fouled straight back. 1-1. We'll check out the rest of the Mustang schedule a little bit later on during the broadcast. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 across in the second with 2 down and the bases empty. Farley looks in. The offering. Swung on and lifted into shallow left field. Fajardo, the shortstop, goes out. It's over his head in front of Keller for a base hit. That was fisted out there by Felix Llamas. He is now 2 for 2. And that was really a good pitch thrown by Farley. Some bad luck for the Mustangs there with that base hit. Hubbard will now hit. Hubbard walked and scored in the first inning. The stretch by Farley, the pitch. Fastball is high. 1 ball and no strikes. Colin approaching 50 pitches through 2 innings. Not quite there yet. Would like to get this hitter out in the next 2 or 3 pitches to avoid doing that. Northridge already has 7 hits in the game through an inning and 2/3. At the belt, Farley. Long pause to the plate. That's a strike with a fastball in the outside corner. Count levels at 1-1. Still have plenty of baseball to play this season. Even though this is game number 12, you're about halfway through. And 8-3 over the first 11, pretty good. Runners up in the Hampton Inn Classic to the Sterling Tigers. The pitch. And that is a little bit up and away. Got the corner, but too high. 2 balls and 1 strike here to Dylan Hubbard. Yeah, I don't know much about wind. All I can tell you is that it's blowing out. If they hit 2 home runs off balls that seemed like it were routine flies off the bat, it's blowing out. The pitch, swing, and off the glove of Velasquez. That'll be a pass ball, allowing Felix Llamas to advance to second. And as the game wore along on Tuesday, Velasquez, who played very well defensively over the first 4 innings, had his struggles in a final couple of innings, and that's really because, I mean, you're squatting for that long. He must have just been tired. Long pause. 2-2 pitch in the dirt, blocked by Velasquez, but the wild pitch allows Felix Llamas to move to third. Three balls and 2 strikes to Dylan Hubbard. Out of the stretch with a man at third. Velasquez lays down the sign. And Farley. Now time is called. Trying to throw Farley off rhythm. 2 home runs hit by Northridge. The Mustangs nearly had 1. The stretch. Farley looks in. Another long pause. Time again, and the time was granted. Wow. Wow, even though Farley was really about to deliver to the plate, a little bit frustrated there. Man, you got to get this game moving. I mean, you rarely see that in a sequence where 2 timeouts in a row are called. I can get 1, but not 2. In fact, he shouldn't have allowed it. 3-2. Let's see if Farley just throws to the plate here. And the pitch. And that is low. It's a walk, and Farley's clearly frustrated. That pitch was low, but I think the whole sequence up to that point is what unglued him. Cooper Rose popped out to the shortstop Fajardo, even though the ball was hit right at Layden. Cooper Rose looking for his first at bat, or first hit, I should say, against the Mustangs, 0 for 4 on Tuesday. So first and third with 2 down. Northridge with a 6-3 lead. 5 runs in the first, 1 so far here in the second. Hopefully it stays that way. Scoring to bunt, that's a decoy. He's not going to bunt. The pitch. He does up the first base side, but Farley barehands it, throws to first, and the ball is dislodged from Campa. It's dislodged from his glove. That would have been an out, so that'll be an error. A run scores at 7-3. Well, we'll call it E3 there. The throw hit the glove. And then the runner and the fielder kind of converged. And Josh Langford making sure that Campa's okay, but the Mustangs commit another miscue. I'm stunned he bunted because it was not a good bunt whatsoever. But a run scores on the miscue by Fort Morgan. And runners are at first and third. And we'll have a courtesy runner as well for Northridge. Wow. I mean, the issues continue for the Mustangs. That's their first error of the game, but you know what? They've had a base running miscues, outfield adventure so far. And Brendan Peterson, who popped out to Ortega in foul territory, is now the hitter. That's an unearned run allowed by Farley. The stretch. The pitch. Way outside. I got to tell you, this is tough baseball to watch. It is not fun baseball to watch. Not because Fort Morgan is losing, but because we're not having any clean innings here. It's just one mess after the other. Farley at the belt. To the plate. Swung on, grounded to third. Frank's got it. Steps. Fires to first, and that will end the top of the second inning. Thank God. 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 error and 2 left for Northridge. We head to the bottom of the second inning. Northridge 7, Fort Morgan 3 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Time for the Mustangs to break out those bats again as they trail Northridge 7-3 going into the bottom of the second inning. And the line scores are not pretty. 7 runs, 7 hits, an error for Northridge. 3 left on base, 3 runs, 4 hits, an error. Nobody left on base for Fort Morgan. That's because they had 2 thrown out on the base paths in the bottom of the first inning. 7, 8, and 9. Charlie Langford is the hitter, batting .333. He had 3 hits on Tuesday. And he is the DH today. For the Mustangs. Against the left-hander Gannon McGeen, who threw 22 pitches in the first. Out of the stretch with the bases empty. The pitch. That is a strike with a fastball at the knees. No balls and 1 strike to Charlie Langford. Open stance, right-handed hitter, the pitch. Swung on and fouled off to the right on the breaking ball. Count is at 0-2. Well, they lost to Thompson Valley a couple of weeks ago, 7-3. Came back the next day and won 11-1. That's not going to be the case here. The pitch in the dirt, at least not as easy. If they do win, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The first 4 hitters for Northridge all got base hits. Felix Llamas had a 2-run homer. Then in the second, Jace Reed went deep. And the 1-2. Curveball is lined towards right center field to his left, and playing it on a hop is going to be Colin Gilly. It's a base hit for Charlie Langford. The Mustangs continue to rake. It's not on the offensive end they have trouble. It's on the defensive end. That's their 5th hit already. That'll send up Joseph Layden. Layden hitting .357. The pitch in the dirt, scooped up by Rose. Got to watch out on that move. You don't want to get thrown out here. If you're Langford, got to be careful on the bases with that left-handed pitcher. Because Fort Morgan could have had more than 3 runs in the first inning. And the stretch, 1-0. Upstairs, 2 balls and no strikes. Even more important now, ahead in the count, that you don't do something silly on the bases. 2 balls and no strikes. Fort Morgan trails Northridge 7-3, but only in the second. The pitch. Fastball is high. 3-0. This could be the first of 15. It's like a game of 21 in basketball. 3 balls and no strikes here to Langford. Check that to Layden. The pitch. That is a little bit upstairs, and it's a walk to Joseph Layden, and Langford does advance to second. So the L's are on here for the M, Levi McCoy. McCoy hitting just .043. And that's where you look to just, that's simply where you look to maybe bunt. Take advantage of the speed here. The pitch, squaring to bunt, and he lays it down out in front of the plate. Fielded on 2 hops. Throw to third is going to be high, and it gets away down the right field line in foul territory. Langford gets up. He's going to score. Layden is being sent home, and he will score. And that's going to be a couple of runs for the Mustangs on the throwing error by Gannon McGeen. It's Northridge 7, Fort Morgan 5, and the adventure continues for both teams. It was bunted a little bit too hard. That would have been an out at third base. Here's Briggs Wheatley, had a base hit his first time up. And Wheatley was eliminated on the bases on a miscue after trying to take an extra base on the misplay of the infield by Northridge. Laying down the sign is Rose. The offering. Curveball swung on, grounded, base hit up the middle. Now let's see if McCoy can score. He will easily, rounding third. The throw is cut off to the plate. RBI single by Briggs Wheatley. He is 2 for 2. The Mustangs have 3 across in the bottom of the second inning. Northridge 7, Fort Morgan 6. Here is Braden Fajardo. Fajardo hit that fly ball in the infield that Felix Llamas misjudged. Picked up by Reed. Everybody was safe, but then Briggs got a little bit too aggressive, and he was eventually tagged out on a rundown. And just like that, on a few swings, the Mustangs are right back in it. And perhaps could take the lead. The pitch, fastball, a strike on the outer half of the knees. No balls and 1 strike. Gannon McKean looks at first. Short lead for Wheatley. And the offering, way outside. Count levels at 1-1. The Mustangs came into the game hitting .282 as a team. With all those averages, almost doesn't look right, but that's what it says there. 2 balls and no strikes. Swung on and fouled. Check that. That was a 1-1 pitch. Now at 1-2. Here to Fajardo. We had a base hit, a walk, a throwing error, which scored 2 runs, and then Wheatley with a base hit. The Mustangs have 6 hits in the game, 1 shy of Northridge's total. The pitch swung on and lifted into shallow center field. Colin Gilly in 3 steps makes the grab. Back to first is Wheatley, and there's 1 out in the bottom of the second inning. Here's Frank Ortega. He singled to center in the first. Well, these first 2 innings could take about an hour. We're at the 50-minute mark right now. But that's what happens when you have 13 runs on the board. 7 by the visitor, 6 by the home team. The offering. Swung on. That is lifted into left center field. That is carrying. That's way back towards the fence, and it's going to be caught in left field by Peterson. Wheatley back the first 2 down. Again, that ball is carrying because there's no doubt Ortega clearly got underneath that baseball and still gave it a ride. So 2 down. Here's Jesse Campa. He's got home run power. Again, Northridge has a home run in each of the first 2 innings. Jesse struck out his first time up. And the pitch. Swing and a miss, and the bat goes flying. On a tailing fastball, it's 0-1. A little bit off balance. We know that Jesse, after having an incredible football season, is not playing at 100%. But he's a senior, and he's a gamer. An incredible competitor. Short lead at first. Runner goes. There's a throw back to first. And that looked like a balk. It was a balk. Yeah, big-time balk there by McGean. Yeah, he was headed to the plate. I mean, that's the definition of a balk. He was never headed to first base, but then he saw Wheatley taking off and threw it to first anyway. But there's no doubt that that was a balk. No balls and 1 strike, a runner in scoring position for Fort Morgan. The pitch, that is a little bit low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. To Jesse Campa, the Mustangs scored 3 in the first. They've got 3 more here in the second. The pitch, swing and a miss, took something off for that, tailing away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 runs scored on 1 error by Northridge. Remember the battle they had here a few years ago, McBride senior year? Mustangs won an extra innings, controversial call. The pitch. Breaking ball is outside. That was in a playoff game. And that was prior to Fort Morgan losing to Cheyenne Mountain in that district championship game 3-2. That would have been the 2018 season. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, a man at second. Runner goes. Swung on and fouled off the end of the bat. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, a man at second. Runner goes. Swung on and fouled off the end of the bat. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, a man at second. Runner goes. Swung on and fouled off the end of the bat. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, a man at second. Runner goes. Swung on and fouled off the end of the bat. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, a man at second. Runner goes. Swung on and fouled off the end of the bat. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, a man at second. Runner goes. Swung on and fouled off the end of the bat. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, a man at second. Runner goes. Swung on and fouled off the end of the bat. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, a man at second. Runner goes. Swung on and fouled off the end of the bat. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, a man at second. Runner goes. Swung on and fouled off the end Count stays at 2-2 on Jesse Campa. Off of second is Wheatley. Campa waits the pitch. Got to protect that outside corner of the pitch. In the dirt, skips away to the screen. Wheatley to third off the wild pitch. So it will be a 3-2 pitch coming up to Jesse Campa. Fort Morgan with a 7-6 situation, now trailing. I was going to say had the lead, but they trail 5-0 after half an inning, 5-3 after one, 7-3 after an inning and a half, 7-6 right now Northridge. 3-2 pitch. That is down and in. Boy, that barely missed. McGean and Rose thought they had a strikeout of Campa, but it was called ball 4, and that was just below the knees. David Keller doubled his first time up. And he will now bat looking to drive in a run, which would be the tying run unless he hits the ball in the gap, and Fort Morgan could go on top for the first time of the game. Fill up your cooler, gas up your car, Stubbs Gas and Oil. Easy and convenient, make them the only stop you need on your way to the big game. Right down the middle for a strike, delayed steal here by Campa, no throw. Yeah, that would be scored in MLB as runners or fielders indifference. A base hit will put Fort Morgan in the lead. And the 0-1 pitch. Swung on, grounded off the pitcher, picked up by McGean, throw to first, and Keller is retired, and so are the Mustangs. However, Fort Morgan in the inning scores 3 runs on 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 men left. Let's head to the third. Northridge 7, Fort Morgan 6 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Let's head to the third inning. Northridge leads Fort Morgan 7-6. It'll be Isaiah Shepard, Lincoln Lyons, and Colin Gilly, 8-9-1 against Colin Farley, who has thrown 54 pitches in the first 2 innings. Shepard singled his first time up. This guy's been a terror against Fort Morgan, even though he's hitting out of the 8-hole. Let's see if Farley can keep this to 12 pitches or less. That would help a lot. The offering, and he bounces it in. 1 ball and no strikes. The Mustangs have trailed the entire game, but the entire game's only lasted 2 innings, even though we're just minutes shy of 1 hour of baseball here in Fort Morgan. And the 1-0. That's a fastball for a strike on the outer half at the knees, and the count levels at 1-1. Northridge has homered in each of the first 2 innings. Mark Felix Llamas in the first, Jace Reed in the second. Down and away, ball 2, strike 1. Yeah, we'll keep track of how many pitches. I mean, you don't want to get more than 15 pitches thrown in this inning. 12 to 15 would be ideal, or anything less than 12, obviously. And the 2-1 offering by Farley, here it is, right there. Oh, must have just missed, even though Velasquez turned around, thought it was strike 2. Instead, it's ball 3, a little bit low. 3 balls and 1 strike to Isaiah Shepard. The pitch. Swung on, grounded sharply to short. Fajardo's got it, sets and throws, and 1 out. Braden Fajardo's been a wall at short for the Mustangs this season. 1 down for Lincoln Lyons, who grounded to second to end that 5-run first inning. All right-handed hitting lineup with the exception of Gannon McGean, who's also the opposing pitcher. Well, Farley needed 5 pitches to retire that hitter. The offering. Fastball is up and away. A ball and no strikes on pitch number 60 by Colin Farley, which means he's got no more than 50 left in him there. Open stance from the right side. Pitch to Lyons. Over, but low. 2-0. Rockies and Cubs play tonight at 6:40. Most of our games are on 1010 KSIR, one of our many sister stations on the Eastern Plains Sports Network. The pitch. Swing and a miss. That pitch tied up Lyons, but he went for it anyway. 2 balls and 1 strike. Yeah, compared to Tuesday, these are gorgeous conditions, but it's still, you get a taste of what April baseball weather is like. Farley to the plate. Swung on line foul up the left field side. Out in front was Lyons. It's 2-2. Well, if he gets him out on this pitch, that'll be 5 pitches to this hitter. Yeah, you'd like it to get to about 2 or 3 pitches per hitter because of what happened in the first 2 innings. 2-2 to Lyons. Stretch by Farley. And the pitch by Farley. That is just a little bit low and away. Good spot, but it missed. 3-2. Northridge 7, Fort Morgan 6. 5 runs in the first, 2 in the second. The Mustangs with 3 runs in the first and 3 in the second inning. 1 out and the base is empty. And the payoff pitch is coming. Here it is. Swing and a miss. That would have been ball 4. He went chasing above the letters, and Farley picks up his second strikeout as Lincoln Lyons goes down. 2 down for Colin Gilly. He singled, scored, and grounded to short. That's a big, big strikeout there by Farley. And you know that Gilly's going to be aggressive early in the count. Velasquez setting up towards the outside corner. The pitch. That's a beautiful strike right there. Exactly where Velasquez wanted it. Outside corner, it's 0-1. Farley again. The offering. Down and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Strike to ball ratio is not great. Still close to even. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down, bases empty in the offering. Down and in. 2-1 to Colin Gilly, the number 1 hitter in the lineup. 1 for 2 officially in the game. For Northridge, looking for the season sweep of the Mustangs after they won 17-12 on Tuesday in Greeley. 2 balls and 1 strike. Farley to the plate. Down and away. Whoa, I had it 3-1. That should be 3-1. The first pitch was not a strike? Yes. Get back there. That's 3-1. Yeah, it didn't even say 3 on the board. Come on, Kyle. I mean, this guy's been on base every time against Fort Morgan except once. You don't want... Let's not change the rules here. 3 balls and 1 strike. Colin against Colin. Let's see if Farley can get him out after that misunderstanding. Now he called time, and it's up and away off the glove of Velasquez, and Gilly's got to walk. He's going to round first. He won't be headed to second, so he's on base anyway. And here's Jace Reed. And watch out for this guy. He's doubled and homered. And on Tuesday, Reed was not retired. Wow. Reed on Tuesday was 2 for 2, 3 runs scored. He was walked. He was hit by a pitch. And he's not been retired today. 7 plate appearances against Fort Morgan. He's been on base every time. Farley looks in. The offering. And he takes a strike on the inner half at the knees. It's 0-1. No balls and 1 strike. I mean, that might happen in slow pitch softball, but not in baseball. But Reed is proving to be an almost impossible out. Short lead at first for Gilly, about 2 steps. And the 0-1 pitch is coming right now. A strike again. That's down the middle. It's 0-2. I'm not sure what Reed is looking for, but he took 2 very good pitches. No balls and 2 strikes. 2 down, top of the third. Fort Morgan trails Northridge 7-6 in Fort Morgan. Farley at the belt. Farley to the plate. Swung on and lifted foul up the right side, giving chases. Campa might have a play and does have a play along the fence as the wind kept the ball in, and that ends the top of the third inning for Northridge in the frame. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one left. 2.5 complete. It's Northridge 7, Fort Morgan 6 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Let's head to the bottom of the third inning. Northridge 7, Fort Morgan 6. We're at the top of the hour, 5 o'clock Mountain Time. This is Morgan County's B106 KPRB. Brush, Fort Morgan. I'm John Beltran. Brian Nickel and I bring you Mustang baseball all season right here on B106, including the postseason, which the Mustangs hope to make. But they've got to win games like today. They were 6-0 to begin the season, now have dropped 3 of their last 5. It'll be Velasquez, Langford, and Layden in the bottom of the third against left-hander Gannon McGeen. Velasquez singled and was eliminated on the bases. Swing and a miss on a tailing fastball. No balls and 1 strike. Fort Morgan offensively did everything right in the first except run the bases. The pitch, swing and a miss. Had a tail to that one. Little bit of a bender. It's 0-2. 0-2 to Velasquez. McGeen to the plate. Swung on, line, base hit into left center field. That's not a good pitch there by McGeen. Oh, what a mistake that was by McGeen. Velasquez now 2 for 2. That is rule number 1 as a pitcher. You never throw an 0-2 pitch that is that hittable. Yeah, that was a huge mistake, and Bodie Wheatley will be the courtesy runner at first. Wow, I can't believe he gave him something that fat to hit. And Velasquez took advantage. And that'll bring up Charlie Langford. He singled and scored his first time up the offering. Fastball is upstairs. Both teams have 7 hits in a game. Yeah, I'm stunned. I mean, I know Velasquez did not look good for the first 2 pitches of that sequence, but the third one was a meatball. The pitch. That is a strike with a fastball in the inner half just above knee level. 1 ball and 1 strike on the Mustang DH, a sophomore in Charlie Langford. Short lead at first for Bodie Wheatley. McGeen to the plate. Fastball is up and away. 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, we could have 50 runs combined in the 2 games. We had 29 on Tuesday. We have 13 so far, so that's 42. Snap throw to first, back in diving is Bodie Wheatley. 2 balls and 1 strike to Charlie Langford. Fort Morgan just put up the first 0 of the game, as Northridge did not score in the top half of this frame. The pitch, down and away off the glove of Rose to the screen. It's a wild pitch. And Wheatley the second. Yeah, you just sense that Fort Morgan's going to explode here at some point. 3 balls and 1 strike. The last time they lost to a league opponent in Thompson Valley on the road, they came back and won by 10 runs in 5 innings. 3-1. The pitch. Swung on, popped up into right field, and to his right is Lyons coming in, makes the grab. Runner tags, and Wheatley will make it the third as the throw is wide of the bag. And there's 1 out as Langford is retired. 1 down for Joseph Layden. He walked and scored on the throwing error by the pitcher McGeen. Well, just a ground ball in the infield, unless it's to third base or to the mound, will score the run. They're playing in at the corners and back in the middle. Layden awaits the pitch. Here it is. Swung on and fouled straight back. That was up in the zone. No balls and 1 strike. We're in the bottom half of the third inning. Northridge leads Fort Morgan 7-6. The pitch. Swing and a miss in the off speed. Well, Layden can't hang away from that high pitch. He can't lay off it. He swung at 2 pitches above the letters. He's got to be more disciplined right now. 0-2. Layden awaits the offering. Swing and a miss and a breaking ball in the dirt. Picked up by Rose. He'll throw to first for the out to complete the strikeout. That's a big strikeout of Joseph Layden. Not a good plate appearance for him. 2 down. And for Gannon McGee, that's only his 2nd strikeout. McCoy, well, now we're going to have no, that is McCoy. Had a hard bunt his first time up and reached on the air, the pitch. And that bounces in. Nice block by Rose. Wheatley has lots of speed at third. He was looking to score there. 1 ball and no strikes. The stretch by McGee. The pitch. Swung on and tapped foul behind the plate. Count levels at 1-1. If McCoy can hit something on the ground, he is so fast. That would score the run. The pitch. And that one slips away up the first base side. Here comes Wheatley to the plate, and he scores. That skipped just a few feet away. That is great base running. Tremendous base running by Bodie Wheatley. You rarely see a base runner scoring a wild pitch that skipped just a few feet away, and it was up the first base line. And Fort Morgan has tied the game at 7. Wow. I mean, that is as good a base running as bad as Fort Morgan looked on the bases in the first. That was tremendous. The pitch. Swung on and popped foul and out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're back to 0-0 with about 4 innings to go unless Fort Morgan can tack on more in this inning. 2 balls and 2 strikes to McCoy. The pitch. The breaking ball is outside. McGee is up to 62 pitches, so we're going to get to the bullpens in this game. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The offering. Swung on, grounded up the third baseline behind the bag. It's fair. Long throw to first and late. Levi McCoy beat it out. That was a bang-bang play. That really could have gone either way. That could have gone either way. It was that close. McCoy beats it out. Fort Morgan has 8 hits in the game. I'm telling you. I think that was, I'm pretty sure somebody told me that was Brian Nichols' speed in 1971. But, it's just my guess, Brian. There's Briggs Wheatley. He's got a couple of base hits, and that pitch is upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, because that was a strong throw there by Felix Llamas. And yet it was beat out. And the pitch swung on and laced foul up the right side. Way out in front was Briggs. Count level at 1 ball and 1 strike. That thing was tattooed by the senior. Wheatley had a great season as a junior, looking to duplicate that again. And the pitch swung on and driven deep down the right field line. That is trouble towards the track. And a leap, and it is it gone or is it caught? It was caught in right field by Lyons. What a catch by Lincoln Lyons along the right field line. Holy mahungus, what a tremendous play by Lincoln Lyons, robbing Wheatley of an extra base hit along the line in right field. A sparkling all-star type of play. Fort Morgan, though, scores a run on 2 hits, no errors and a man left. They have tied the game as we head to the 4th inning. Fort Morgan 7, Northridge 7 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Let's head to the 4th inning. Fort Morgan and Northridge deadlocked at 7. Colin Farley with a pitch. Up and away, and this is Gannon McGee, 3, 4, and 5 hitters, a double and a strikeout. So far in this one, Fort Morgan has scored in each of the first 3 innings. Northridge, 5 in the first inning and 2 runs in the second. The offering, up and away. Ideally, you want to get Colin Farley through 6 innings, but I don't think that's going to happen. He's thrown 75 pitches, and we're not more than 2 pitches into the 4th. And that pitch is a strike with a fastball in the outside corner. The count is sitting at 2 balls and 1 strike to Gannon McGeen. Stretch by Farley. And the pitch. Swing and a miss and a fastball below the knees. 2-2. McGeen, Felix Llamas, and Hubbard for Northridge in this frame. The sign is laid down by Velasquez. The offering. Curveball. That is a called strike 3 on the outside corner. Oh, what a gorgeous pitch by Colin Farley to pick up the strikeout. That was placed beautifully, and it froze Gannon McGeen, and Colin Farley has picked up his 3rd strikeout of the game, and here's Mark Felix Llama, who's homered and singled. His home run was a 2-run shot to straightaway center. And it looks like Colin is settling down after the 5-run first inning. At the belt, both pitchers go out of the stretch with the bases empty. Off the glove of Velasquez, down and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Antonio's got to be tired. He caught a ton of pitches on Tuesday, and we had a long first inning here. And Colin's about to deliver his 80th pitch of the game, and it is a ball. Fastball low, 2-0. You have to get Farley through 5 innings. To ask somebody to throw 3 innings in this situation is going to be a tall order. 2-0 pitch. That's right there for a strike on the outer half at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike. We're tied at 7. 1 out and the base is empty. In the top of the 4th, the offering. Oh, that's low. 3-1. Yeah, you can't continue to mess around like this. 3 balls and a strike. Farley stretches. Farley, he pauses. Long pause. Now time is called. He did take too much time. He took too much time. Time is offered. 3 balls and 1 strike. We'll be back with you on Tuesday in Johnstown when the Mustangs take on the Rough Riders in Johnstown. 4 o'clock first pitch. 3-1 here to Felix Llamas. Farley looks in. The pitch. Bounces it in. It's a walk. 1 on, 1 out. Farley has now walked 4. That's an issue. That's why he's got 83 pitches deep in this game. And Dylan Hubbard has been issued 2 of those walks. He's now at the plate. You really need a double play right now. You have to minimize the pitch count. 1-step advantage at first. The offering. That's down and away. 1 ball and no strikes. 43 strikes, 41 balls for Farley. Ideally, you'd like to be at least a 2-1. That's not the case right now. It says 1-1 on the board, but that's only the first pitch to this hitter. Farley at the belt. Farley to the dish. Swung on and laced into left field for a base hit beyond the diving Fajardo in the gap. But Felix Llamas can only get to second. That's the 8th hit for Northridge, and Dylan Hubbard's been on base 3 times with 2 walks and a single. And here is Cooper Rose, who has yet to get a base hit against Fort Morgan in 6 plate appearances. Today he popped out and reached on an error. It was that bunt up the first base side. Runners take their leads. The stretch. Long pause by Farley, and time is called. Wow. That time is gone. Josh Langford is out of the dugout. giving his team some instructions. Farley has been in rhythm at times, but not for the most part. He's had good outings this season, really good outings. The stretch. Farley looks back. The pitch. That is low. He hasn't missed a lot of pitches by much, but it doesn't take much. 1 ball and no strikes. 2 on, 1 out. Fort Morgan 7, Northridge 7 in the top of the 4th inning. Farley again now 1-0. That is over but low. On the bender, it's 2-0. Right now we're on pace for a game that will end at around the same time we had on Tuesday. That was a 6:45 p.m. ending, and looks like that's going to happen here. Swung on and fouled off to the right. Campa giving chase, but it's out of play. 2 balls and 1 strike here to Cooper Rose. Northridge led 5-0 after half an inning on a single, 2 doubles, a 2-run homer by Felix Llamas. They got a home run from Chase Reed in the 2nd. Mustangs kept them off the board in the 3rd. Fort Morgan's gotten a couple of breaks in this game. They have not had a huge hit, but they do have 7 hits. Looking back, the pitch. That is just inside, I guess. Where did that miss? Yeah, Farley's wondering where that missed. So am I. Where did that miss? Must have been inside. I thought it got the plate. 3-1. Now, that changes the entire at-bat here for Cooper Rose. 3 balls and 1 strike. Felix Llamas at second. Hubbard at first. And throw back to second, but you're not going to get a guy out there. That's just a spin and a throw with no chance. Back and diving is Felix Llamas. We'll see a 3-1 coming up. Runners take their leads. Rose awaits the pitch. Here it is. And it hit him on the left shoulder. And the bases are loaded. They retired the first hitter, but now the bases are loaded for Brendan Peterson. Here comes Josh Langford, and let's see if Farley's going to continue to pitch. Colin has thrown 90 pitches, so he's running out of pitches. And we'll see what the verdict is right now. Not good for a Fort Morgan team that used up their number 1 pitcher on Tuesday. Jesse Campa threw a lot as well. Bodie Wheatley did throw in that game. They used all 3 other pitchers. That's why you can't have Farley just come out of the game now. He's got to continue to pitch until he runs out of pitches. And the limit is 110 on full rest. And Farley is on full rest. So let's see what happens here when the conversation breaks up. Bases loaded, 1 out, tied at 7 in the top of the 4th inning. Well, this is a lengthy conversation. Josh Langford trying to take as much time up as possible. Well, this is it. I mean, it's going to be the last inning for Colin. If he gets out of it quickly, he's got a shot to throw a few pitches in the 5th. That's about it. So let's set up the situation. Felix Llamas at third. Dylan Hubbard at second. Cooper Rose at first. Brendan Peterson has popped out and grounded out. His 2-run single was as a left-handed hitter. He's a switch hitter, but hitting from the right side right now for Northridge. Laying down the sign is Velasquez. And the pitch. And that bounces in. A nice block by Velasquez as the ball rolls up the first base line. No advance there. 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, Felix Llamas doesn't have the speed that Bodie Wheatley did when he scored on that wild pitch earlier in this game, which was in the bottom of the 3rd. 1 ball and no strikes. Velasquez lays down the sign. Long pause again. The pitch. That is a strike. There you go. It's a late call, but it was called a strike. Fastball at the knees. Count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Anything here, a pop-up, a strikeout, a double play grounder. Anything hit on the ground could result in a run, unless it's right at an infielder. The pitch, swung on and grounded foul into the Mustang dugout on the breaking ball up the third base side. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Colin does have 3 strikeouts in the game. If you're going to get one here, you got to climb the ladder. I don't think you're going to get it on a breaking ball. Climb the ladder and see if Peterson goes fishing. It is 1-2. Bases loaded, 1 out. Farley looks in. The pitch, and time was called. Oh, man, he's issuing time way too quickly. Colin didn't take that long. I mean, how many times are they going to grant time to the hitter? That's about 5 or 6 already. He didn't pause that long. That's going to really slow down the game. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The stretch. Farley to the plate. That is that's a called strike 3. That'd be a called strike 3. Peterson can't believe it. There's 2 down. Peterson was backing up, but it's a called strike, not a very emphatic called strike 3. That looked like just a regular strike. Northridge fans don't like it. There's 2 down. Yeah, normally when a hitter's rung up, it's a lot more emphatic than that. All right, 2 down. The Mustangs will take it. Strikeout number 4. Isaiah Shepard is singled and grounded out. Farley might get out of this. Swung on and driven deep into the right center field gap. McCoy to his left is not going to get to that baseball. Takes a hop up against the fence. 2 runs will score. Over to third is Cooper Rose. He's being sent to the plate. The throw, the slide, and he's going to be out by a mile. The tag is applied by Antonio Velasquez, but it turns into a 2-run double by Isaiah Shepard. And Northridge has now taken a 9-7 lead as we take it to the bottom of the 4th inning on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. All right, let's see the change here for Northridge. 66 pitches deep is Gannon McGee, but that looks like Pierce James will be on the mound now for Northridge, a left-hander. Let's see if we have any other changes. I'm looking for McGee in the outfield. And looks like he's going to be in right field. So McGee in right field. Lincoln Lyons is out, at least for now. Everything else stays the same. 2-run double by Isaiah Shepard. It's a 9-7 Northridge lead. Rose tried to score. He was eliminated. That is 8-4-2 at the plate. And the Mustangs will send up to 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Braden Fajardo, followed by Frank Ortega and Jesse Campa. Feels like the wind has picked up and the temperature's dropped a little bit. Fajardo in the game is 0 for 2. He's been on base once. The pitch down and away off the glove of Cooper Rose. 1 ball and no strikes. Another wild game. 45 runs combined by these teams. 29 on Tuesday, 16 today, and that breaking ball's up and in. 2 balls and no strikes. Fort Morgan has not been held off the board yet. 3 runs in each of the first 2 innings and 1 on a wild pitch scoring Bodie Wheatley in the 3rd. The wind and offering, and that is inside. James is wondering, where did that miss? Looked like it got the corner. Yeah, the strike zone is in question. 3 balls and no strikes, the offering. And that is upstairs. It's a walk to Fajardo on the changeup. He walks on 4 pitches to James's frustration. And Frank Ortega, who was singled and popped the left, he nearly homered. His second time up is now at the plate. Northridge with a 9-7 lead, taking the lead again on a 2-run double by Isaiah Shepard, who's got 2 hits in the game. Stretch by James, the pitch. Swing and a miss. Ortega swung at that pitch yesterday, and it got there today. That's how much he mistimed that changeup from Pierce James. Fajardo with a 2-step lead. James to the plate. Inside, and now Fajardo about to take off, but the ball was dropped, but it didn't get away from the catcher. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mustangs only have 1 home run the whole season. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Frank's taking too hard of a swing there. Off speed, off speed, off speed. It's 1-2. With Jesse Campo waiting to hit next. This is not only the second pitcher, but the second left-handed pitcher for Northridge. The offering. Swung on and chopped foul up the third base side. Count remains at 1-2 to Frank Ortega. Northridge is going for the season sweep of the series as they defeated Fort Morgan 17-12 on Tuesday, and they lead 9-7 in the bottom of the 4th inning today. 1-step lead for Fajardo. Ortega waits the pitch. In the dirt, skips away, and that's going to be a wild pitch. Another one for Northridge pitching. That sends Fajardo to second. They have thrown a ton of wild pitches. I'm guessing 4 or 5. It's at 4 right now. The pitch in the dirt. Three and two. 3-2 to Frank. 9-7 Northridge. The offering. Swung on and fouled off the end of the bat. He's trying any way to get on base. He's not going to make solid contact being that far out in front. He just wants to stay alive in the at-bat. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Frank Ortega with nobody out. Fajardo at second. He reached via the 4-pitch walk. Pierce James to the plate. Swung on and lifted into deep left center field. That one might find a gap. That one is off the bottom of the fence. Fajardo scores. Ortega's into second. Throw back to second. Ortega's back in standing. It's an RBI double for the senior. Northridge's lead is down to 1. It's Northridge 9, Fort Morgan 8. Nice job of just waiting by Ortega. Jesse Campo will now hit. He struck out and walked. And we know that Jesse's got that same type of power. Fort Morgan's been inches away or feet away from hitting a couple of home runs in this game. In fact, Frank gave it a ride his second time up. The pitch swung on and fouled to the backstop. Changeup was above the letters. It's 0-1 to Jesse Campa. Well, just like the game on Tuesday, you'll have to score double digits to win. James to the plate. That is a strike on the inside corner with a fastball. No balls and 2 strikes. Still nobody out in the bottom of the 4th. Northridge 9, Fort Morgan 8. And the pitch to Campa. Breaking ball away. It is 1-2. 1-2 to the senior first baseman. Ortega, plenty of speed at second. Campa at the plate. Runner goes to third. Swung on line. Base hit into left field with Frank Ortega running. Ortega's going to score easily, and Campa's tied the game at 9 with an RBI single to left field on a hit and run. And that ball nearly hit Frank going by. That's how hard it was scorched. You have to believe the Mustangs will take the lead for the first time in the game. And the man to do it could be David Keller. Keller has doubled and grounded back to the mound. The offering swung on and lifted into shallow right field. That one is going to drop for a base hit off the end of the bat on the changeup. Keller has 2 hits. And the Mustangs at first and second with nobody out for Antonio Velasquez, who is 2 for 2 in the game. And things have turned around nicely for Fort Morgan, trailing 5-0 after half an inning. Trying to keep this rally going against the second pitcher, left-hander Pierce James. Looking back, looking in the pitch. Swung on, driven deep to left field at the track. It's caught up against the fence. Oh, man, too much topspin. Runners back to their bases as Brendan Peterson made the play, 1 down, but Velasquez hit that a long way on a line. And I think that's the reason it didn't leave the yard. It was hit too flat. Charlie Langford has singled and popped out. 1 for 2. First out of the inning. Stretch in the pitch. Swing and a miss off the glove of Rose. That'll be a pass ball. Campa to third. And the trail runner, David Keller, to second. They thought it was a foul. I'm not sure that was a foul. I didn't hear any contact. I think it just went strictly off the glove. And let's see, I did not hear any contact whatsoever. The runners are at second and third. Are they going to change that right now? Because that would alter the situation completely. Coach Langford speaking to the home plate umpire. I think it's a foul ball. Mobile banking on the go makes banking easier for you when you're on the go. Check them out today at Equitable Savings and Loan. That is Equitable Savings and Loan. It is a foul ball. Foul ball, so no balls and 1 strike. Campa back to second, Keller back to first. Tied at 9 in the bottom of the 4th inning. As you can imagine, a slow-moving game. But the conditions are much more favorable for baseball as opposed to what we saw 2 days ago in Greeley. No balls and 1 strike with 1 out. Charlie Langford, the sophomore, looking to give the Mustangs the lead. The pitch upstairs with a fastball. Count is even at 1-1. Charlie singled in his first at-bat before his second at-bat flyout. James at the belt, the pitch. Swung on and fouled straight back. A ball and 2 strikes. Joseph Layden will hit next. It was a tie game after 3 innings. Will it be a tie game after 4, or can the Mustangs come through? The offering and a check swing and a miss. Langford was completely fooled, and he strikes out on a curveball, 2 down. Joseph Layden has walked and struck out. 0 for 1 in the game. This would be a wasted opportunity. First and second, nobody out. Velasquez lined to left prior to this Langford plate appearance. James to the plate. Fastball is outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Jesse Campa with a lead at second. Not a ton of speed over there. The pitch swung on and fouled off the end of the bat towards the first base dugout again on the changeup thrown by left-hander Pierce James. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ortega made solid contact after waiting. And the same thing with Velasquez. James looks back. And the 1-1 pitch. Swung on line foul off to the right. 1-2. This is the number 8 hitter in the lineup for Fort Morgan. Joseph Layden James stretches. James pitches. Curveball swung on, grounded weakly to second. Charging, fielding, throwing to first, and that's going to be in time. It looked like the first baseman came off the bag. Oh, that clearly looked like the first baseman came off the bag on the throw by Bevins. And out at first base is going to be Joseph Layden. But there is no doubt that Shepard's foot came off the bag. Let's see now if there's going to be a discussion between the field and home plate umpire. That was obvious from here. The throw pulled Shepard off the bag. But they still called him out. Let's see what the call is now. Yeah, I thought he was safe because of an errant throw. And I could see that from up here. And now it's safe at first base. Pulled off the bag, and the Northridge coaching staff doesn't like that, but I think that's the right call. That is definitely the right call. There's no question about it. That'll be an error on the second baseman, Peterson. Yeah, I don't know how you could call him safe there. And here's Levi McCoy, and that was clearly the right call. You can argue that all you want. And even Shepard knows he was pulled off the bag. So here is Levi McCoy, an error and a single. Yeah, I'd pulled him off the bag. I mean, you can argue that all you want, but you got to be logical at some point. We don't have replay here, obviously. It won't matter to Northridge if they can retire McCoy. It will only matter if a run scores. I mean, the throw clearly beat Layden, but the foot's got to be on the bag. And the foot was not on the bag. It was up the first base side. So that's E4 for Northridge. And the Grizzlies have committed their third error of the game. The Mustangs have won. Pitch to McCoy. Bounces away. And now to second. Well, I had something wrong. And it scored a run. That's what I didn't see there. It actually scored a run to make it 10-9. Okay, that's why I had. All right, so it did matter. They scored a run. That's what I missed the pitch. Down and away with a breaking ball. It's 2-0, so I apologize there. I didn't even see Campa score on that play. That's why the bases were not loaded, and that's why that was a huge miscue by Brendan Peterson. So Fort Morgan has taken a 10-9 lead on an error by Northridge. The stretch. Pitch to McCoy. Swung on and lifted in the infield on the right side. Second baseman Peterson to his left is going to make the grab, and that does end the bottom of the fourth inning. The Mustangs score an unearned run. Well, that's why Northridge was not happy. Actually, they scored an unearned run amongst the 3 runs they scored in the frame. 3 runs on 3 hits, a huge error, and 2 left. We'll settle back in as we head to the 5th inning. Fort Morgan 10, Northridge 9 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. All right, the Mustangs have a 10-9 lead over the Northridge Grizzlies. Simply on a second and third situation, a ground ball hit off the end of the bat by Joseph Layden to the second baseman Peterson, who threw it up the first base side. Initially, he was called out because the throw beat him, but Isaiah Shepard did not have his foot on the bag, and Campa scored from third the unearned run as part of a 3-run bottom of the 4th inning. To give a full recap, has given Fort Morgan a 10-9 lead. Jesse Campa is now the new pitcher. Keep in mind, he threw just 22 pitches on Tuesday, even though he scuffled. So that means he's fully available. The pitch, and that bounces in. Colin Farley is now in right field, and the first baseman is Briggs Wheatley. Lincoln Lyons is grounded out and struck out. The offering swung on and fouled off to the right. Yeah, I need a good outing here. A solid outing from Jesse Campa. He really struggled against Riverdale Ridge. The pitch, breaking ball is down and away. He was great as a junior. 2-2 with a 5.41 ERA in 6 appearances as a senior. I think he's a warm weather pitcher. I think this cold weather is not to his liking. The pitch swung on and fouled. And, of course, he's not at 100% either. He was banged up during the football season, but An all-state type of performance, an all-state player. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 10-9 Fort Morgan, top of the 5th. The pitch. The bender's in the dirt. It's 3-2. And that's the thing. Pitching is not just about arm. It's about legs. That's why he's not going to be as effective this year as he was last year. He's got to go on guile and guts and adrenaline. And the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. And Campa strikes out Lyons. He blew it right by him to begin the top of the 5th inning. 1 down. And that'll bring up Colin Gilly, who has singled, grounded out, and walked. He's 1 for 2. He has been on base 7 of 8 times against Fort Morgan this season. The pitch, and the curveball is high. And with Fort Morgan's next game on Tuesday, all pitchers will be available by then. But Jesse Campa is being called to close this game out. In the dirt, 2-0. Bodie Wheatley is also available should they need him. 2 balls and no strikes to Colin Gilly. Wind and pitch. That's way outside, and it's 3-0. The line score goes like this: 10 runs, 11 hits, 1 error. 5 left on base for the Mustangs. 9 runs, 9 hits, 3 errors. 5 left on base for Northridge. Fastball, a strike at the knees. Count is at 3-1 to Colin Gilly. Jesse Campa with 1 out and the base is empty. Swung on, line down the left field line. That's a base hit. Keller to his right, dives on a knee, gets up, throws it back towards the infield, but Gilly's going to have a stand-up double. A 1-out stand-up double in the top of the 5th inning. And Gilly is 2 for 3. Here's Jace Reed, a double, a home run. And then he popped out to the first baseman, Campa, at the time in foul territory. How do you pitch this guy? Not very easily, because he has got significant pop. There's been 2 homers hit in the game, both by Northridge. A 2-run homer by Felix Llamas in the first, and a solo shot by this guy, Jace Reed, in the second. Northridge is the tying run at second base in the 5th inning. Campa looks back. Campa to the plate. Swung on, grounded to third. Ortega to his left, has it. Fires to first for the out. Now to third is Gilly, the throw, and late. So now there's 2 down, and Gilly at third for Northridge. But they got the out they needed there. And that'll bring up the number 3 hitter in this lineup. And that's Gannon McGeen, who has doubled and struck out looking twice. He also struck out, I believe, 3 times on Tuesday. Feast or famine type of hitter. Campa to the plate. Away with a changeup, 1 ball and no strikes. The Mustangs have their first lead of the game on really a flukish type of play. A missed throw by Peterson. The pitch swung on and popped foul along the third base side. Will it stay in? It will not. Out of play as Ortega ran to the screen. 1 ball and 1 strike. We're going to have another 2.5 hour plus type of game, unless the outs come frequently and fast. 1-1 to Gannon McGeen. At third is Gilly. 10-9 Fort Morgan. The offering. Swung on, grounded sharply to second. Backing up is Layden, fires to first, and Gannon McGeen is retired, and so are the Grizzlies in the 5th. No runs on 1 hit. It was a double by Gilly. No errors, and he was left at third. 4 1/2 innings have been played in Fort Morgan. It's the Mustangs 10, the Northridge Grizzlies 9 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. A new pitcher for Northridge as the Mustangs lead 10-9 going into the bottom of the 5th inning. And that is Jace Reed. Jace Reed, who was retired earlier this inning, who's homered in the game. Peterson stays at second. Now I got to figure out who's at short for Northridge. Let's take a look over there. Dylan Hubbard is the shortstop. He was the DH going in. Everybody else remains the same. For the Mustangs, it'll be Wheatley, Fajardo, and Ortega. Briggs is 2 for 3 as he steps in. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And let's see what he can do. The left-handed hitter for Fort Morgan had a huge junior season and trying to keep that going here in his senior year. Against the right-hander, Jace Reed, the third pitcher from Northridge. It started off with the left-hander Gannon McGee, and followed by Pierce James, and the Mustangs scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning. We are now in the 5th, the stretch, with the bases empty and the pitch. Swung on and fouled off to the left. No balls and 1 strike. Game time temp was at 58 degrees. I'm sure it's dropped since then here in northeast Colorado, as we are now sitting in Fort Morgan. It's at 59 degrees. I guess that sun is doing something. And the 0-1. Swung on and laced on 1 hop for a base hit into right center field. That got out there quickly. Beyond the diving Peterson, Briggs Wheatley now is 3 for 4 with that base hit into right center. And the Mustangs now have 12 hits in the game. And they will now send up Braden Fajardo, who is 0 for 2 with a walk. And once Fajardo gets on base, he's a running machine out there with all that speed. Fort Morgan trailed early 5-0 before the Mustangs tallied 2 in the second, then got 3 more in the or 2 in the first, I should say, 3 more in the second and 3 in the third. Here's the stretch by Reed. Long pause and the pitch. Swung on and grounded left side. It's going to be a tough play for the shortstop. Hubbard goes the short way, and that's late. That is late. That'll be an infield hit. There's no way they would have gotten Fajardo anyway on a long throw to first, considering he runs the base as well. First and second off back-to-back hits for Frank Ortega, who nearly homered in his last at-bat. He's got a single, a fly out, and a double, 2 for 3 in the game. For the senior third baseman, Frank Ortega, the Mustangs with a 10-9 lead in the bottom of the 5th inning in this slugfest. The stretch by the right-hander. And the offering. Swung on and popped foul off to the right side. Let's see if there's a play. The wind is blowing the baseball back in, but it drops to the right of the catcher, Cooper Rose. And it's just a strike, 0-1 on Ortega. I'd like to send a shout-out to my longtime buddy, man. We've been friends for like 50 years. My buddy Alex Novoa in Miami. Huge Miami sports fan primarily. I'm going to have to rank them. We know what's number 1. There's no question about it with the Miami sports teams. The pitch. Fastball is upstairs. The count levels at 1-1. Yeah, the Miami Heat are obviously number 1. And that's not because they won a couple of championships. Actually, more than that. See, one with Dwayne Wade in 06. Then they won back-to-back with LeBron. Yeah, they don't have more than 3 that I know of. But he's been a basketball fan since even before the Heat were in existence, starting with the 88 season. The pitch. Swing and foul tipped into the glove of Cooper Rose. And the count is now sitting at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Then, of course, you've got the Panthers in hockey, the Marlins in baseball, and the Dolphins in football. Well, the Panthers are number 4. I mean, him and I have had 0 hockey conversations in all these years. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The offering. Breaking ball is up and in, and the count levels at 2-2. Fort Morgan with a 10-9 lead. So I'm going to guess, wow. I mean, you're Cuban, right? When you're Cuban, that means baseball should be ahead of football. I'm guessing basketball is first for Alex. Baseball second, football third, hockey fourth. And the 2-2 from Jace Reed looking back to the plate. Swung on and lifted on the right side. This will be an easy play for Shepard, the first baseman. He makes the grab. The runners hold. 1 down in the bottom of the 5th inning as that fly ball was off the end of the bat. Hit by Frank Ortega. The runners are there now with Jesse Campa stepping in, who struck out, walked, and singled. And I'm not disguising my voice, Al. It's just the same guy who's talking. It just must be the airwaves or something. I don't know. Runners go. Swung on, line to left field, coming on and playing it on a hop. Holding up briefly was Wheatley. He will score on the base hit as Brendan Peterson came in. And Wheatley scores, and the Mustangs in that line drive base hit from Jesse Kempa now lead Northridge 11-9 in the bottom of the fifth inning. And to second is Fajardo on that base hit. We'll have a courtesy runner. Let's see who that is at first base. That could be Luke Wolf. But Fort Morgan, after trailing early 5-0 in this game, now leads 11-9, but they need a lot more if they're going to win this game in 5 or 6 innings. Here is David Keller, who's doubled, grounded out, and singled 2 for 3. Yeah, so, Al, you tell me differently if it's any other order than that in your Miami sports preferences, but it's got to be, and the fastball is upstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. If it's not basketball, baseball, football, and hockey in that order, then I'm not sure who I know as a friend of 50-some-odd years. That I should know. I should know. Now, there's also tennis, which is not a team sport, which would be one of your 2 favorite sports, along with basketball. Runner goes to third, swing and a miss. The throw to third is late, and Fajardo with a stolen base. Lots of speed there by Fajardo. First and third now, with Keller looking to extend the Mustang lead, which sits at 11-9 in the bottom of the fifth inning. And let's see if Northridge brings the infield in, because at the pace that Fort Morgan is scoring runs, they cannot allow any more. And Fort Morgan pitching has gotten a lot better since giving up 7 runs in the first 2 innings. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 across. 11-9 Fort Morgan with 2 on. They're at the corners. The stretch by the right-hander with a glove at the belt. The pitch swung on and popped foul out of play. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here to David Keller. Antonio Velasquez, who's 2 for 3, is on deck, and he has laced the ball 2 of the last 3 times. Yeah, you hit the ball on the ground anywhere in the middle, that'll score a run. This infield is playing pretty slow today, and Keller's got a lot of speed at the plate. The pitch swung on and lifted into left field. This should be a routine play. Peterson is coming on. He's going to make the grab, and tagging up and scoring easily is going to be Fajardo. The throw gets away, but no advance by the runner at first. It's a sac fly by David Keller, and Fort Morgan with 2 across in the bottom of the fifth inning now leads by a score of 12-9. And what has been a high-scoring affair in Fort Morgan. And here is Antonio Velasquez. His first base hit was off the end of the bat. His second was a scorcher. His third was a line drive that was caught shy of the track. And I mentioned that it wasn't Peterson, it was Bevins that committed the error earlier that gave Fort Morgan the 10-9 lead 1 inning ago. Swung on and fouled to the screen. No balls and 1 strike. Yeah, so, the only difference in favorite sports that my friend Alex and I have is probably with baseball's my number 1, tennis is my number 2. I think with Alex, basketball's is number 1 and tennis is number 2. Could be wrong about that, but it's definitely a top 2 sport. The pause and the pitch. Fastball is low, below the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fort Morgan with 2 runs in the fifth inning. They've scored in every inning. Mustangs were down 5-0. Scored 3 in the first, 3 in the second, a run in the third, 3 in the fourth, 2 so far here in the fifth. They scored 12 runs on Tuesday and lost by 5. It's been a wild week of baseball. I mean, we haven't had traditional baseball scores. Swing and a foul off the catcher Rose. And the count moves to 1-2. Rockies are taking on the Cubs from Wrigley Field in the first of a 4-game set coming up here in about 40 minutes. On one of our sister stations, 1010 KSIRs, the Rockies are going for their 5th win in a row. We haven't said that too many times in the last 25 years. They came into the league in 1993 with the Miami Marlins. That's right. Okay. That's right. Slow pitch softball out. I forgot about that. Okay, I retired after the 99 season a year before I got married here in Colorado. The pitch, I got married in Miami, but it was in Colorado where I played my last year. Down and away, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, I can't eliminate that because I played slow pitch from 84 to 99, and Alex and I won 1 or 2 championships together. The first one was right after he got married, about 2 weeks after he got married in February of 1990. The stretch and the pitch. Down and away, the runner goes to second, no throw. It'll be a stolen base for the courtesy runner out there, Luke Wolf, as the Mustangs are looking to score more in the bottom half of the 5th inning. 3 balls and 2 strikes to the catcher, Antonio Velasquez. Charlie Langford will hit next, and all of these pitchers for Northridge have labored quite a bit. Rose lays down the sign at the belt with a glove. Reed to the plate, swung on and chopped over the middle, charging the shortstop, throwing on the run low and in time as Dylan Hubbard makes the play. Antonio Velasquez is retired, and so are the Mustangs in the bottom of the 5th inning. 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors and 1 left. 5 innings are in the books from Legion Field. Fort Morgan outscoring Northridge 12-9 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. The Mustangs need 6 outs to win this game. I'm John Beltran from Legion Field, where Fort Morgan trailing 5-0 at one point now leads Northridge 12-9, trying to avenge a 5-run loss on Tuesday in Greeley on a day that was unbearable weather-wise with swirling winds over 30 miles an hour. Today the wind is much calmer, and we've had Kansas/Wyoming type of wind weather here in the month of April. And I'm basically having an on-air text conversation with my buddy Alex Navoa. And he's asking the question. It's a great question, and the pitch skips away. 1 ball and no strikes to Mark Felix Llamas. A home run, a 2-run shot in the first, a single and a walk. And what happened this year, it's called the Ohtani rule, the offering. Swing and a miss from Jesse Campa. It was this year in Major League Baseball, Al, and people have asked me that here, that they implemented the DH in both leagues, the designated hitter. That is swung on and lifted into deep left center field. That one to the fence, and Mark Felix Llamas is homered for the 2nd time in the game. That's about a 385-foot bomb for the 3rd baseman from Northridge, and the Grizzlies are not done. It's a home run to lead off the 6th inning. Fort Morgan's lead is down to 2. It's 12-10. So they did a couple of things, all right? The DH, which had been in place in the American League, I think since like the mid-'70s, is now in place in the National League for the first time this season, ever. Pitchers were hitting forever. Back to the early 1900s, the pitch swung on and grounded foul up the 3rd base side. So that is this year. The other thing they did, and this is the Shohei Ohtani rule, is that when Ohtani was pitching, if he was removed from the mound, he could not hit. Even if he was in the lineup, he could not hit. Now it's the Ohtani rule where you can stay in as a designated hitter. So if you're a pitcher, but how many of there are there? Just one. It's Shohei Ohtani. And that's it. So if he's taken out of the game on the mound, even if he's not playing in the field, he stays in as the DH. The pitch. That is upstairs with a fastball, 2-1. Dylan Hubbard has walked twice and singled. He's been on base all 3 times. So I can't relay exactly how the text was sent to me by Alex, because it's guy talk. Swung on and popped up into right field. Coming on is Farley to his right, still going, and he makes the grab, and there's 1 down in the top of the 6th inning. And what I mean by guy talk, and I've done it many times, the language is loose. So, but that was this year, Al. They did that during the offseason. Well, they're trying to encourage offense in the game. There's enough offense as it is, but baseball is no longer the sport it used to be. This is all feast or famine, strikeout or home run. And the breaking ball is off the glove of Antonio Velasquez to Cooper Rose. 1 ball and no strikes. Cooper Rose popped out, reached on an air, and hit by a pitch. He's 0 for 2. 5 outs to go for Fort Morgan, but they won't be easy. Up 12-10. Fastball must be low. Man, that's all over the plate. Velasquez held that ball for about 3 seconds to try to see if he can entice a strike call from the home plate umpire. And it did not happen. 2 balls and no strikes. Campa now needs a strike. The pitch. And he throws that in the dirt, 3-0. Yeah, there's so many things wrong with baseball. It's just, I mean, they're micromanaging the game so much. That's one thing that I agree with, by the way, eliminating the pitcher from hitting. Even though, and the fastball's a strike, there have been some incredible moments. Madison Bumgarner, now with the Diamondbacks, he had 2 homers on opening day, obviously as a pitcher years ago. And there was just something special about certain pitchers hitting. Swung on and lifted a shallow left field long run for Keller, and he makes the running catch. And Cooper Rose is out number 2 in the top of the 6th inning. So that's a positive. But, I mean, for instance, look what happened. Was it yesterday or 2? Yeah, yesterday. Clayton Kershaw had a perfect game through 7 innings, throwing just 80 pitches. But, of course, he's 34 years old or close to 34. He's had health issues. It's early in the season. And I guess he agreed with the decision by Dave Roberts to take him out as the breaking ball swung on and missed by Brendan Peterson, who was 0 for 3. But, man, I mean, you're robbing us of a great moment there with a potential perfect game or no-hitter. Swing and a miss on a fastball. 0-2 with 2 down here in the top of the 6th inning. Fort Morgan leads Northridge 12-10. So I'm not crazy about that. I mean, can you imagine if a Nolan Ryan who threw 7 no-hitters was out there? Oh, you've thrown about 80 pitches, you're gone. I mean, he would have killed the manager. Swung on, grounded to third on 2 hops. Ortega backs up, and then he drops the ball. He's got no play. It's an error on the third baseman, Ortega. Had the play, but just couldn't come up with it cleanly. And the inning is extended, and Fort Morgan has committed their 2nd error. And it's been that type of game on both sides. Isaiah Shepard has been a Mustang killer. 2 for 3 at a 2-run double in his last at bat. Also had a couple of hits on Tuesday. Yeah, I just missed the old game. You know, when Ricky Henderson stole 130 bases in one season, when you could basically, what's that terminology? Skin a cat many different ways. The pitch. Swung on, popped up on the right side. The pitcher and the first baseman converging. Now the catcher, Velasquez, dives and it's off his glove. Oh, man, the wind swirling all over the place and nobody took command. And that's going to go as a base hit on a ball that was just lost out there. About 10 feet out in front of the plate. That's the adventure we've seen all week across the state of Colorado with swirling winds. And on an error and a freak hit, the inning continues here in the top of the 6th inning. For, let's see if Lincoln Lyons will now hit, which he will, a ground out and 2 strikeouts. Here comes Coach Josh Langford. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, 80 pitches thrown by Kershaw. I mean, normally a guy's taken out after, well, first of all, you're not taken out. You're not taken out off a no-hitter or a perfect game. But 80 pitches through 7? I mean, is somebody going to tell me if Kershaw threw an extra 15 or 20 pitches that would have damaged his arm for the rest of the season? I don't believe that whatsoever. I do not believe it. What is the difference between 80 and 90? 10 mathematically, but in terms of wear and tear, nothing. Now, if he gave up a hit, take him out of the game. Okay, you can use that as an excuse. But I don't get that whatsoever. I know Kershaw's defending it. Roberts defending it. We're all team guys. I don't want to live in that era. I mean, I don't want to live in an era, in a generation, where a pitcher is taken out of a game with out of the game with a perfect game. I don't want to live in an era where they eliminate chicken parm or raw oysters in New Orleans. They haven't done that yet, but if that happens, now we're going to a different realm of life that I totally disagree with. 2 on, 2 out. The pitch swung on and lifted into shallow left center field. That could be trouble. That's going to drop for a base hit. That'll score a run, and the trail runner to third. And it's now 12-11 on a base hit into left center field by Lincoln Lyons. And it's been a 2-out rally here for Northridge in the top of the 6th inning. And to third on the play was Colin Gilly. I mean, this inning should have been over 5 minutes ago, easily. But the misplay by Ortega, the fly ball in the infield, more like a pop-up, or the wind carried it from foul territory to a few feet in front of the plate, and Velasquez dove, and the catcher had the ball go off the tip of his glove, and then the base hit Well, Gilly looking to tie the game here with a base hit. He is 2 for 3. Swung on and grounded up the middle. The shortstop Fajardo underhands to second for the force. And that thankfully gets the Mustangs out of the inning. But Northridge scores 2 and they strand 2. 5 1/2 innings are complete in Fort Morgan. It's Fort Morgan 12, Northridge 11 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Jace Reed will begin his second inning of work as Fort Morgan leads Northridge 12-11 in the bottom of the 6th inning. I tell you, Al, my buddy in Miami, that Joey Wendell is a really nice pickup for the Marlins. He had a 2-run double in a 3-run 4th inning. The Marlins lead the Phillies 3-1. The Rockies and Cubs coming up from Coors Field in about less than 30 minutes. Because Wendell was an all-star last year with Tampa. And my son and I had the privilege of going to the all-star game last year in Denver. And Wendell, even though he's not much of a known player, in fact, if you didn't know the guy was an all-star, he would be more anonymous than he really is. But Joey Wendell, very underrated, and the Marlins picked him up. And we know that Miami, which made the playoffs 2 years ago, has got a solid pitching staff. Sandy Alcantara is pitching today, allowing a run on 5 hits over 4 innings. Here in Fort Morgan, it's 12-11. Swung on and tapped foul up the third base side by Charlie Langford, who singled, scored. Then he popped out to the right fielder and struck out swinging on a 1-2 breaking ball. For the Mustangs against the right-hander Reed, it is 7, 8, and 9. Langford, Layden, and McCoy with an open stance from the right side. All of these Northridge pitchers pitch out of the stretch with the bases empty. The offering. Fastball is up and in off the glove of Rose to the screen. 1 ball and 1 strike. Yeah, that's true. The other thing with Wendell is that the guy is extremely versatile. Very versatile. I mean, that player growing up, by the way, there was one player who did that, who played a ton of positions. The pitch, fastball, a strike at the knees. And that player, he wasn't the greatest defensive player. That was Pete Rose. Pete Rose was an all-star at 5 positions: first, second base, third base, left field, and right field. Joey Wendell primarily, although he plays as many as 4 positions, primarily as a first baseman and a third baseman. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Reed to the plate, and the breaking ball is down and away. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. We have played 2 hours and 20 minutes, and this game is not close to being decided. In the bottom of the 6th inning in Fort Morgan, the Mustangs lead the Northridge Grizzlies 12-11. Reed looks in. The offering. Swung on and popped up on the right side. Let's see what the wind does with this baseball. To the right, and the ball is going to be caught. Lunging to the ground is the first baseman, Shepard. I mean, it is literally blowing along the right side towards the infield, and you have to account for a tailing wind. And there's one down. I mean, we saw this at Coors Field on Sunday, where Chris Bryant of the Rockies dropped the ball in left, allowing 3 runs to score. And I'm trying to remember who the Rockies played in that game, but it happened, against the Dodgers. And their outfielder also dropped it. 1 down in the 6th inning. Pitch by Reed. Swung on and popped foul out of play. This is Joseph Layden, who has walked, struck out, and reached on an air. He's 0 for 2. Yeah, I've got to look back at that box score. Chris Bryant had one that dropped. It was, you know who it was? It was Chris Taylor. Chris Taylor dropped one for the Dodgers, allowing 2 runs to score for the Rockies. That's, I mean, if it's happening at the major league level, imagine here. Check swing, did he go? And the answer is yes. Wow. Mustang fans don't like that at all. On the inside fastball, no balls and 2 strikes to Joseph Layden. 1 down and the base is empty. In the bottom of the 6th inning, these teams have combined for 23 runs. And Fort Morgan has 1 more right now than Northridge. Looking for some insurance. The stretch by Reed. And the right-hander fires to the plate. Swing and a miss. Layden strikes out on 3 pitches, 2 down. Here for Levi McCoy, who has reached via the air, singled and popped out. He's 1 for 3. Yeah, so baseball, that's why baseball is such a funny sport. That's why you don't hear about the football gods or the basketball gods. You hear about the baseball gods because odd things happen in baseball, whether it's the bounce of the ball, Mother Nature. You just don't know. You don't know. The pitch swung on, lined, and caught by the second baseman, Cody Bevins. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Jace Reed. And Fort Morgan will carry a one-run lead into the seventh and final inning. That's if we don't go more. With the score, Fort Morgan 12, Northridge 11. A 1-minute break on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Let's head to the top of the seventh inning. Yes, the left fielder, Al. That was a 2003 Game 6 National League Championship Series. I'm sending the text right now, and I'm mentioning it on air. Moises Alou was the left fielder for the Marlins when Steve Bartman interfered with that baseball hit by Luis Castillo, led to a 7-run eighth inning. The pitch and the breaking ball is a strike. 12-11. Fort Morgan here in the top of the seventh inning, but Jace Reed is the hitter, 2 for 4. He homered in this game. He's at the plate. The pitch, curveball, swing, and a foul tip. It's 0-2. 2, 3, and 4. The heart of the order here for Northridge. Jesse Campa looking for the 3-inning save. Actually, I think he's the pitcher of record now. The pitch, curveball is lifted into shallow center field. That one is going to drop for a base hit off the end of the bat from Jace Reed. Again, that is baseball for you. You don't want to throw a hittable 0-2 pitch, but he got very weak contact on that, but strong enough to deposit the baseball into shallow center. Both teams have 14 hits in the game. And here is Gannon McGeen with a tying run at first. McGeen has doubled. Struck out, grounded out, swung on. That's going to be a home run. Deep into right field. Oh, man, that's towards the Northridge bus. A 2-run bomb by Gannon McGeen, and Northridge now leads Fort Morgan in the seventh, 13-12. And that was a no-doubter, a mammoth blast by Gannon McGeen. Wow. I mean, that might have been at a Yellowstone. That thing was torched and scorched. It had fire on that baseball. Here is Mark Felix Llamas, who has 2 homers today. That is 4 home runs in the game for Northridge. The Mustangs will have the top of the order once we get to the bottom of the seventh inning. And again, all set up because of a base hit off the end of the bat from Jace Reed as Northridge is going for a season sweep of the series. 3 for 3 is Felix Llamas. Swung on and grounded to third. A big hop for Ortega. Sets, throws low, and it skips over Briggs Wheatley up against the fence. And to second is Felix Llamas, and Ortega with another error for the Mustangs on a routine play. Oh, man. A routine play. Fort Morgan now has 3 errors in the game. Yeah, yesterday, when the Yankees, Al, were playing the Toronto Blue Jays, I think it was Giancarlo Stanton who had a long fly ball, and John Sterling, the 80-year-old, I think he's 80, the play-by-play, longtime play-by-play voice of the Yankees, easy for me to say, swung on and chopped over the mound. The shortstop Fajardo cannot get it. Base hit into center field. Felix Llamas rounds third. The third of the plate is going to be cut off. It's an RBI single by Dylan Hubbard. Northridge has 3 across in the seventh, and they have a 2-run lead on Fort Morgan. It is 14-12. Anyway, Sterling thought that it was a home run. He said, gone but caught. Yeah, I don't think that's happened to me. But then again, I'm not 80, and I don't know if that's a matter of age or from what I didn't see the highlight, but apparently Stanton's body language at the plate dictated he thought he had a home run, and maybe Sterling got fooled by that, and that throw nearly went off the first baseman's glove on the pickoff by Campa. So a single, a 2-run homer by McGeen, and a base hit scoring a run by Dylan Hubbard. The pitch, that is a strike. On the outer half, no balls and 1 strike to Cooper Rose, who's 0 for 3. He's popped out twice. Aboard via the air and hit by a pitch. He's been on base twice. Still nobody out. 14-12 Northridge in the 7th. The offering. Swung on and lined up the middle. Fajardo's got it on 1 hop. Steps to the bag for 1. Throws to first. That is a 6-3 double play. Mustangs needed that badly. They needed that bad. Oh, come on. Is Northridge complaining about that? I mean, that was clearly that was a double play. He was not safe at first. 2 down. Brendan Peterson is 0 for 4 as he is now inside the batter's box. Yeah, you physically have to see it go over the fence or the wall. Breaking ball, swing and a miss in the dirt, 0-1. And here's the thing. We don't have monitors up here. At the major league level, yeah, you're watching it live from the booth. But you have monitors in front of you that can tell you as well. Here we have to see it from 400 feet away or further. A strike with a fastball on the outside corner. No balls and 2 strikes. The Mustangs will have, let's see, I believe it's 1, 2, and 3 or 9, 1, and 2. Once we get to the bottom of the 7th inning, down by 2. Camp at the stretch. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Peterson strikes out, but Northridge has grabbed the lead. 3 runs on 3 hits, including a go-ahead 2-run homer from Gannon McGeen. 1 error, and the bases were left empty. Can the Mustangs rally? They trail 14-12 going to the bottom of the 7th on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Well, this is it. Fort Morgan trailed 5-0 after half an inning. They kept chipping away, took the 10-9 lead after the 4th inning. They did it pretty quickly. Then it was 12-9 after 5, but Northridge scored 2 in the 6th and 3 in the 7th. A 2-run homer by McGeen, an RBI single from Dylan Hubbard. So here we go. The Mustangs do have the top of the order, and Briggs Wheatley has 3 of Fort Morgan's 14 hits in the game. Northridge has 16, and Jace Reed has been nails since coming into the game for Northridge. Here we go in the bottom of the 7th inning. Out of the stretch by Jace Reed. The pitch to Wheatley. Swing and a miss to a fastball right by him. No balls and 1 strike. Wheatley now with his 5th plate appearance of the game. Well, this would be a stunning loss for Fort Morgan. The breaking ball is inside. 1-1. Northridge fans wanted a strike there. The McGeen home run was a no-doubter. Pitch was a meatball for him, and Jesse couldn't take that back, unfortunately. Once it leaves your hand, that's it. 1-1. Wheatley awaits the offering. Swing and a miss, and Reed is throwing some significant fastballs right now. He's got major heat. 2 innings for Reed. He has struck out only 1. He's given up 3 hits, though, so he is hittable. The pitch, up and away with a fastball. Count now sitting at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Reed has not walked anybody since coming into the game in the 5th inning. Could the Mustangs score 12 runs against this team twice and lose both games? That's the possibility. The pitch swung on and chopped up the first base side. It is along the line and fair over the bag. Wheatley thought it went foul. Shepard stepped on the bag. There's 1 down. Yeah, I think it went right over the bag, and I don't think that's a bad call. Wheatley thought it was foul, but it was over the bag, and there's 1 out as Shepard makes the play. And here is Braden Fajardo. Fajardo is 1 for 3. Fajardo reached on the air by the 3rd baseman Felix Llamas, popped out, walked, and singled. Well, some words being exchanged now between some fans over here on the first base and 3rd base side, you can imagine. Very competitive game today, going back and forth. Northridge has scored the last 5 runs of the game. Swing and a miss on a fastball above the letters. No balls and 1 strike. With a 12-9 lead, Fort Morgan could not extend the lead. Then it was 12-11. Fort Morgan could not get those runs back. Northridge is 2 outs away from completing this comeback. The stretch. And the pitch by Reed. Swing and a miss, and Fajardo's not going to hit a ball that's above his uniform letters. No way. He's chasing right now. That could have been 2-0. Braden's having a fantastic season, but it's not because he's hitting pitches like that. No balls and 2 strikes. 1 out, the base is empty. Northridge 14, Fort Morgan 12 in the bottom of the 7th inning. The pitch. Breaking ball is lifted on the right side. Foul territory, out of play. Isn't it crazy? You can score all these runs, but it only takes 1 hot pitcher, and that pitcher is Jace Reed. And I wouldn't say he's hot scattering 3 hits, but he's done his job for the most part. And he stands to get the win, and Campa would take the loss. Fajardo awaits the 0-2. Upstairs, he didn't go fishing for that one. That's the right pitch to throw if you're Reed. Keep it above the letters. Fajardo laid off. Wants to make sure that the pitch is brought down. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Reed to the plate. Breaking ball, and he took it for a ball down and away. Man, that is disciplined by Braden Fajardo, 2-2. 38 pitches thrown by Reed. What a game this has been in Fort Morgan. 29 runs combined on Tuesday, 26 today, 55 overall. The 2-2 pitch to Braden Fajardo. And that is a called strike 3, fastball on the inside corner, 2 down. Great pitch by Reed, great pitch. Yeah, you can't debate that. 2 down here for Frank Ortega, who has singled, popped out, doubled, and popped out again. He's 2 for 4. This is going to hamper the chances of Fort Morgan, even though there's plenty of baseball to go, but they've got to get back on track. They don't come back here, they will have lost 4 of their last 6 after beginning the season 6-0. The pitch. Swung on line into left field for a base hit. Felix Llamas didn't see it off the bat with the sun in his eyes. Thought he could make a play. Ortega to second, and he's got a 2-out double. Frank Ortega with a 2-out double, and now Jesse Campa, who's got tons of power, is the tying run at the plate. The Mustangs have not homered in the game. Campa certainly can take 1 out. How special would this be after Ortega came through with a 2-out, bases empty double? Jesse Campa has struck out, walked, and singled twice. He's had a very good game at 2 for 3. Jace Reed looks back. The pitch. Swung on, lifted to center field. Does it have enough carry towards the fence? Way back, and the ball is going to be off the glove of the center fielder. Campa to second, scoring is Ortega. The catch was nearly made by Gilly. The Mustangs get a run. It's 14-13. He was right up against the warning track there. And the game continues for David Keller. Campa gave that a ride. It does go as a straight-up double. Nearly caught, but he kept going. And it looks like Wolf will be the courtesy runner at second base. And he is the tying run with David Keller at the plate. A double, a ground out, a single, and a sacrifice fly. Keller is 2 for 3. Got to lay off that high stuff, too. Reed retired the first 2 hitters, a ground out and a strikeout. Back-to-back doubles have the Mustangs to within 1 at 14-13. The stretch. Keller awaits the pitch. Swing and a miss on a fastball down the middle. It's 0-1. The tying run is at second base for Fort Morgan. David Keller looking to tie the game or perhaps even better. No balls and one strike. The stretch by the right-hander Reed. The pitch, swing and a miss. Wow, how do you adjust from there? You have missed 2 pitches in the strike zone. Keller now really has to game up here. No balls and 2 strikes to the junior left fielder. Yeah, you're in a very vulnerable spot. Very vulnerable spot at 0-2. Rose lays down the sign. And the offering. That is a called strike 3. Keller strikes out. And Northridge wins the game 14-13. He struck out on 3 pitches. And Northridge is celebrating on Fort Morgan's field. I mean, this almost like a playoff feel to it as David Keller goes down on strikes. And Northridge wins the game 14-13. A 1-minute break. We'll wrap up this classic right after this on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. The Mustang Post Game Show is brought to you by Morgan Community College, here to make your dreams become a reality for both traditional and non-traditional students in Fort Morgan. Check them out, morgancc.edu. An incredible game here today from Legion Field. The final line score, Northridge defeats Fort Morgan 14-13, 14 runs, 16 hits, 3 errors, 8 left on base for Northridge. 13 runs, 16 hits, 3 errors, 7 left on base for Fort Morgan. The winning pitcher in relief was Jace Reed. The loss went to Jesse Campa. Time of the game, 2 hours and 40 minutes, and Northridge did not waste any time, scoring 5 runs in the first inning. Gannon McGeen had an RBI double. In fact, a 2-run double, making it 2-0. Mark Felix Llamas with a 2-run homer made it 4-0. And then they would score another run on Isaiah Shepard's RBI single. In the bottom of inning number 1, the Mustangs would counter with 3 runs, all with 2 down. David Keller with a 2-run double. Antonio Velasquez had an RBI single. But then Jace Reed hit a solo home run in the second for a 6-3 lead. They made it 7-3 later in that inning on a Mustang error. But the Mustangs came back with 3 in the bottom of the second inning. A 2-run throwing error there by the pitcher Gannon McGeen. Briggs Wheatley with an RBI single made it 7-6. And then the Mustangs would tie the game at 7, and they did that with a run in the bottom of the third as Bodie Wheatley scored on a wild pitch. Northridge, however, would reclaim the lead. Isaiah Shepard with a 2-run double on the final play at the top of the fourth because Cooper Rose tried to score a 3rd run on that play. He was thrown out at the plate. Frank Ortega then in the bottom of the 4th inning with a run-scoring double made it 9-8. Jesse Campo with a run-scoring single tied the game at 9. And then an error on the second baseman Bevins allowed the Mustangs to take a 10-9 lead. Then they tacked on 2 more runs in the bottom of the 5th inning to make it 12-9, thanks in part to Jesse Campa's run-scoring single and then David Keller with a sac fly. Northridge, however, would not go away. A home run by Mark Felix Llamas. That was the 2nd home run by Felix Llamas in the game, the 3rd by Northridge in the 6th inning. And then they would get an RBI single from Lincoln Lyons, making it 12-11, but the Mustangs did not score in the bottom of the 6th inning, and not adding to the lead really did help Northridge because on an 0-2 pitch to lead off the top of the 7th, Jace Reed popped one into center. On the next pitch, Gannon McGeen hit a majestic 2-run blast over the right field fence, making it 13-12. Later on, Dylan Hubbard with an RBI single made it 14-12. Then the Mustangs attempted to generate a 2-out rally, back-to-back doubles by Frank Ortega and Jesse Campo, but David Keller would strike out on 3 pitches. And that's it. Northridge wins the game today by a score of 14-13. The Mustangs are now 4-3 in the Longs Peak League and 8-4 overall. Northridge at 5-3 in league play and 6-6 on the season as they sweep the season series. You don't often see this. Fort Morgan scoring a total of 25 runs in the 2 games against Northridge, and they go 0-2. Next up for the Mustangs, they'll be in action on Tuesday in Johnstown against the Roosevelt Rough Riders. They'll play them here on Thursday. I'll have the Tuesday game in Johnstown. Brian Nickel will have the Thursday game right here in Fort Morgan. The final score, once again, from Legion Field in a classic baseball game. Northridge 14, Fort Morgan 13 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network.